Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, we virtually back. All right, it's still draft season. We still doing this. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. It's weird to do this not in person after 3 years and then this year. Hey, well, we talked about doing this, but we ended up doing a lot more in person, which I'm
Yes.
happy with.
Yeah.
And we're coming towards the end. And I don't know how you feel, Juan. I'm kind of getting burnt out. We only have one more position group to
Yeah.
do, and I've watched a few of the guys. But it'll be interesting for sure. We'll definitely have to see how this class plays out. I was thinking about this safety class compared to the last one. Overall, I think I liked more guys last year than I do this year.
Yeah.
And there's some narratives going around about one of the safeties, and I think we're going to be really against the grain in it. And that's all cool.
Yeah. Look, first of all, I just want to give a big shout out to you guys. Everyone that's been supporting the channel all throughout draft season, man, has been clicking on all the videos.
Even the haters.
Even the haters.
Even
look,
the haters.
Look, shout out to Ahmad. You know, I love you, bro. I appreciate the fact that you comment on our videos. You have strong opinions. We have strong opinions. You know, I hate Texas. Just kidding. I don't hate Texas. I can care less about Texas.
Yeah, and
but you
Buka
got to
got
get that
kicked from
bias out
two-
your heart,
and-
man. You sound like me talking
and-
about the Raiders.
And Mabuka got kicked out of the top 5 just because you were talking crap to one. You told me he's not gonna have him. No, I'm kidding. Look,
But
it's it's a thing, you know. Like that's the cool thing about me and Juan. We don't care about college football. I hate college football.
Look, regardless, man, I sound like a broken record. I feel like I've started off like 4 podcasts like this throughout the draft season, but it's all opinion based, and everyone's gonna look at a player different. That's what I love about the draft is everyone has like Max values things, I value things on the football field. Like we all look at stuff different in a player, you know. And then in reality, we're picking these guys to teams that we don't even know where they're gonna go. There's so many possibilities. Like if one team drafts
Michael Penix last year was the perfect example of what.
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception about the draft one where it's like you got to have 2 teams want somebody. It's like, no. If a team falls in love with you, they're going to I hate to bring up the Raiders, and I'm not trying to just take shots, but the Raiders fell in love with Cleveland Farrell at 4.
Yeah.
And I only bring that up because at the time, you know, we didn't do the show, but we were in the prospects and we were like, that's pretty early for him. That's pretty early.
Yeah.
But hey, it's just if you fall in love with the kid, and I don't blame them for doing it in hindsight, right? Like now that we know he sucked, he didn't work out. But if you find that prospect, you love him, it's a position in need, he's a great player. On paper, take him, you know? Like we talked about the quarterbacks. If this is your guy, who cares if you take him at 17 or 10?
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah. And you know what? Everyone's going to have different opinions, and you can have your opinion all you want. I don't mind that. Just give some good facts. Have some good facts. Have some good facts and have some good stability around your opinion to give on your why. That's what I care about. If you're talking BS like the Twitter guys or the TikTok guys that we have when we post our graphics about our top 5 guys, and they're like, this guy's not better, you're just out of your mind. And I'm like, hey, why can you give me a reason? No, you're just crazy. You're just crazy. You don't watch football. I'm like, all right, well, if you're not going to explain why, like, come on. And then, you know, that's when you go back. That's when you go back and forth. And the people that do go back, that I go back and forth with on TikTok and Instagram and all that, and they give me some valid points. Okay, I'll take it. At the end of the day, if it sways me, it sways me. If it don't, it don't. We just got different opinions, and we'll find out. We'll see who's right at the end of the day. And that's the beauty in it. Anyway, look, we're doing safeties today. We're going to show our list off like we always do. Let's start off with Max's list. Max, you want to start off with our top 5, correct?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with the top 5. We'll get into 6 through 10 later. I got Malaki Starks at 1, Kevin Winston Jr. 2, 3 Xavier Watts, 4 Andrew Mukuba, sorry. 5 Nick Emmanwori out of South Carolina, rounding it out. I think people are going to be surprised where you have him and where I have him because it's lower than the consensus.
Yeah, let's show my top 5 list. A little bit different. Obviously, I don't have Emmanwori. I suck at
You
saying
said it. You
names.
got it.
Oh, I
You
got
got
it.
it. You
Okay,
got it. You got it.
Emmanwori.
You got it. You got it.
My list though is number 1 Malaki Starks, 2 Andrew Mabuka, 3 Kevin
No,
Winston
it's
Jr.
Makuba. Makuba.
Maku.
I keep saying Mbuka like Jackson Smith or Emeka Ibuka. I keep saying that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
Xavier Watts 4 and 5 Billy Bowman Jr. All right, so let's start off with number 1. Okay, we have a consensus. Number 1, Malaki Starks out of Georgia, Max, 6'1", 197 pounds, ran a 4.5. Look, he is so versatile, Max. That's the first thing that popped out on tape to me. He can play in the slot. He can play free safety, strong safety, box. He can play the star. And I start off this player like that because I feel like a lot of the safeties in this class, Max, are essentially like Brian Branch, are essentially like a Derwin James, guys who, yeah, you label them as safety, but it's like, hey, if we need you to play slot corner on this play, you can do it. If we need you to play in the box and play a little bit more linebackery guy, you can do it. If you want to play free safety and free range guys and play in the back end, you can do it. And I feel like we're going to sound like a broken record in this podcast because a lot of these guys, even though they're not true safeties, like your Charles Woodson, end of his career
Well,
type of guy.
yeah, there you go. I was like going to say that's not a great example because that's another guy.
No, at the end of his career, just like free safety.
Yeah.
Those guys don't really exist right now.
I agree with you. I think this class, there's not many true safeties where it's like, we're just going to put you at safety and we're just going to leave you there the whole game. And Malaki Starks is no different. Good size, good skinny frame. I think he can gain a few pounds of muscle. He's a good athlete. He's got long arms. He's a good tackler. But one thing, a common theme you're going to see in the safety class, there isn't a Derwin James. There isn't anyone who just wows you with physicality, in my opinion. There's nobody like, oh, crap. He's gonna crack me. And maybe that player just doesn't exist in today's NFL with all the player safety and stuff they're teaching. I said he's good at slipping through blocks. He's an explosive leaper, and he's got great timing on stuff. And you can see him get his long paws on balls. Excuse the horrible wording. He's got a great IQ. He's always communicating. I don't know if that popped up for you. And I will say this one. As much as I like to see him in those positions where he's a nickel guy, that's my big question about him is in the NFL, can he be good enough in man coverage? And he's good in college, but there's plays where guys get the step on him. Like you said, he ran a 4.5 40. It's not blazing speed. It's good speed. I think he's got that safety burst. With me, I don't really look at safeties like I look at corners where it's like, can this guy fly? It's not always about that. It's more about instincts and can I just burst till the instincts? And that's what this guy has. He has burst. He's got great instincts, and he's the clear-cut only guy I would even consider taking in the first round of this draft as a safety.
Yeah, one of the things that I seen popping out is his feet. Like you said that he's not a fast guy, but he makes up for it in short area quickness. You said the burst.
Yeah, quicker than fast.
Yeah, quicker than fast. And the flexible hips. I felt like he can play really good man coverage at times. It's not the best. It's not like, Jaron Barron or, Derwin James for that fact, but he can do it. And he could do it against bigger guys. I see him playing against the Rashee Rices of the world.
Yeah, if you see like Ladd McConkey, that's not really his matchup you want. Right. You want to see him against like a Rashee Rice, exactly. Rashee Rice, excuse me. One thing I'll say is this. There's a play in the Alabama game, and I'm going to compare it a little later, so this is just a little nugget to hold on to, where Jalen Milroe just turned the corner on him, and that just shows off what a tremendous athlete Jalen Milroe is and how he can be a little bit lacking. Against maybe Lamar Jackson, he's going to get outran. But more than likely, he's going to be fun. He can handle pretty much anybody else. But against those top-tier guys, it's a little worrisome. He just has to clean up his pursuit angles, which at times could be poor. But that's an easy fix.
Yeah, those are coachable things. And I think a lot of the negative stuff that I've been hearing on Starks is, the interception number. He only had 1 interception this year. He didn't get a lot of tackles. One thing that I would say is guys were just rarely open against him. Like he was in coverage and he was
And
just there. Like he was in the right
he had a
spot.
big year. He had a big year the year before, and you have to think quarterbacks know, like, oh, don't go test him.
And I
He's
think
got
that
great
was
ball
part of it.
skills.
That was part of it, Max. Is like
And
the guys are covered.
we know in the NFL, there's some years where Jalen Ramsey's going to have 5 picks. There's going to be some year he has only 2 because, hey, I'm about to have my 3rd pick, and then my teammate comes and tackles me. It's not interceptions to me aren't a great stat always. He had plenty of on-ball production. He checked the box for me.
Yeah.
I don't really care about production anyway.
Right.
But yeah, he checked all the boxes. And I want to say one thing. I don't usually like to bring up leadership in players, but from the reviews I've heard from just countless media members and then interviews with the Georgia staff, he's going to be a great locker room guy. And I think that adds to his value, especially when it comes to commanding the back end of your defense. That matters.
And one thing that I finished off on my notes is, look, he's not a guy that's going to wow you. He's not a wow guy. He's not going to hit stick a guy. He's not going to pick six somebody and take it to the house and on his way to the end zone. But he just does his job at a high level. He's high IQ, like you said, Max. And he just doesn't miss tackles. I rarely see him miss a tackle out there. Ever.
No, the one nitpick about his tackling is if he tackles the guy at the 50, the guy's going to fall to the 48. He's not going to knock the guy back. Right. But he wraps up every time. Yeah, he's just a wrap-up tackler.
Yeah. Okay, let's go where we would pick him. I know Max was saying in the first round. My grade for him, 81, round 1, 20 to 32 range. One of the guys that I had for him as a comp, Max, I had him as a Jesse Bates. And depending on
I think that's a lot of people. I think that's and I think the similarities are pretty apparent. I agree with you.
But I feel like if a team drafts him like a, I don't know, let's say I don't know, this is hypothetical, but it will never happen. But let's say he goes into Detroit and he plays the Brian Branch role. I do feel like he can do that 100%. Like most likely a team's going to draft him, Max, and he's going to play the Jesse Bates role, right? He's going to play the freelance safety. But I think if he had to play a Brian Branch role, he can do it because he is so versatile. So I put Jesse Bates with a Brian Branch role ability.
Possibilities. Yeah, versatility. I see the Jesse Bates thing. I've seen talks of him going top 10, blah, blah, blah. No, absolutely not. This is a late first rounder. And to me, he's somewhere between 20 and 40, which isn't bad. It's just not. First of all, Kyle Hamilton was as blue chip of safety as we could see. And people were saying top 5. And Juan was the first person to say, bet money he falls. I bet you money he'll fall.
Yeah. And my whole thing
is what safeties do every year.
This guy's going to fall too. And I think all these guys are going to fall. The NFL doesn't value safeties all that much. I fell in love with Brian Branch the year coming out. I thought he was a first round pick. He fell all the way to the second.
Yeah.
He fell all the way to the second.
I remember you saying that about Eddie Jackson. I remember telling you that about Xavier McKinney. I was like, this guy is good. He's he's Minka 2.0, but nobody wants him.
Yeah.
To me, like I said, I had Jesse Bates as well and a Kevin Byard possibility. A little bit of Kevin Byard.
Like when we do our mock and we're going off picks that we think's gonna happen, I don't think I'm gonna pick Malaki Starks. I don't think he's gonna go in the first round.
Yeah, I think Juan. I'm sure you'll mess it up. I know you'll mess it up. I know you will. Malaki Starks is number 2 pick in the draft. Thanks, dude. Thanks. Thanks, dude.
Great. That'll be great money. For best fits, I put Indianapolis and Cincinnati. I think
Cincinnati was the one I circled. They desperately need a guy like this.
I think and Lou Amaruno, he's on the Colts now, and I think he will love another Jesse Bates in Indianapolis for him. Get you that Jesse Bates free safety. That's where he came from Cincinnati. So love Malaki Starks. I have a first round grade on him. Let's go to your number 2. Who's your number 2 guy, Max?
Kevin Winston Jr. And look, this position I think I projected the most. And last year he didn't play. I think he played one game, and he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough thing to go, but I mean the frame and the body are there. Like you just got big, strongly built, long arms. Dude, he's a good tackler. My player comp, I'm going to jump right to it, reminded me of Kyle Duggar. My love affection with him.
You motherfucker. That's my comp.
One curse first. One curse first.
That's my
One curse
comp.
first. One curse first. You want me $10. But but no, look, I still, that MJC video we have stashed in the vault of Kyle Duggar that's never going to see the light of day until he has like that great year. Look, he's really physical. I thought in 2023 he's just a heat-seeking missile. Wants to come downhill, wants to like attack. Again, he doesn't kill anybody. Nobody does that in this draft. But he can be in the box or a single high. I like his instincts in the back end with zone. I thought he had good closing speed. The one thing I'll say is I don't want to put him in the Brian Branch role. I don't love him in man. It's okay. It's not great. I would have loved to see him play this year, and that's where it really, really hurts to not see him play. Because he's got all the tools, but it's like, damn, can you do it? In 2023, he was good.
Yeah.
Could he have solidified himself with the late first round grade, early second? Because right now he's pretty down low because after the season he had where he didn't really show anything. Yeah. But I think he's a gem and he's going to be a steal of the draft.
Yeah, the one thing that scares me about him, Max, is the passing thing. When I watched the film, man, before I watch Andrew Mukuba from Texas, I was in love with this kid. Like he's really good. And the thing is like the passing stuff is what worries me, but it comes down to the projection. It comes down because I feel like if he played this year, he would have shown a lot of that.
Dude, I watched his teammate Jalen Reed, and I was so lack of blown away with him. I was like, "You're not, dude." He would have been a difference maker.
Yeah.
If Jalen Reed's getting like third round, fourth round love, this kid would be an easy second round lock.
Yeah, because the tape last year,
doesn't lie, was great.
It was great. I thought it was fantastic. It all comes down to the medicals. It all comes down to the projection for him. Is he going to be your Brian Branch like Max said? No. I don't feel like he can play man coverage. I don't feel like he can be the free safety in the back end, Earl Thomas style. Can he do it? Yes. But he's going to
not all game though.
He's going to be that star guy. He's going to be the guy in the box making plays underneath, being the robber,
kind of like third down. You can put him at sub linebacker. Yes. No problem. But and this is, again, getting a little too early, but there's another guy in this draft who was billed as that, who can't do it, in my opinion, at all.
Yeah.
So, no, I really love this kid, man. Yeah. Kyle Duggar all the way. Sorry if I stole it.
And my low, kind of had this weird little feeling you was going to see the same thing as me because we both love Kyle Duggar. My low, though, Jaquan Brisker. That was a Penn State guy, drew it together.
Dude, that's like a first-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. Literally, I feel like if he didn't get hurt, Max, we're talking about this guy with Malaki Starks. It's literally just the medicals. And he's going to fall.
Totally agree.
He's going to 100% fall. So let's show our grades. This is, obviously, for me and Max, this is assuming that the medicals check out. That he's all good.
Yeah, of course. If they find out his leg's going to fall off.
And it was a torn ACL. It's nothing crazy. It's not ligament damage. It's not an Achilles. It's a torn ACL. Plenty of players have came back from it. It happened early in the season, so he's going to be right on track to come back. I'm not worried about it. I have him as an early second round grade. I doubt teams pick him that high. I feel like he's going to fall to the third.
40 to my thing was 40 to 60. I gave him an 80 for the grade. Really liked him. Again, like you said, the big question is in the passing game and his like ball hawking skills. I wish he got to play this year.
Yeah,
kind of like Siobhan Revel didn't get to play. Could have really solidified himself. I think he's going to be a steal of the draft. Hope Philly drafts him.
I hope my team drafts him. That's who I have as best fit.
No, you would never pick a player this good.
That's who I have for best fit. I feel like Patrick Graham would do really good with him. And I feel like maybe Pete Carroll sees a little bit of Cam Chancellor in him. Strong safety type of guy. Maybe be that enforcer,
not
big
afraid
hitter.
to get it. Do you think he had the best physicality you saw on tape?
Not until
it has to be one or two.
Yeah, no, one or two.
It has to be one or two.
It's more than Malaki Starks. Give you that much.
Yeah, 100%. Like he's more of a physical presence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like there was a play where a tight end was just like trying to run route and he just lit him up. It was like that's 15 yards in the NFL, but I love it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to my number 2 guy. Where was Andrew Mukuba for you, Max?
4. He was my 4th guy.
Okay, so let's talk about Mukuba. Out of Texas. Trying to find the film for you guys. There we go. Okay, out of Texas, 5'11", 186 pounds, ran a 4.45. I fell in love with this kid, man. Automatically, when you turn on the film, it's all gas, no brakes. He's coming downhill. He's coming to hit you with intentions. He's flying around the freaking field, bro. I put right here. I don't know if you know this band, but cue the Pantera music when you watch Andrew Mukuba because it's ridiculous, bro. It's like one of those old school hit compilations on YouTube that you watch. That's how I felt watching him. Able to close down on receivers, knocking out passes left and right. What are some of the things that you've seen, Max?
I see everything you said, everything that you said. And I will say this, he plays with his hair on fire. Has no regard for his body, which I love in a safety.
Yeah.
Fluid hips, not afraid to just, he sees one thing, he goes that way. Oh, let me flip him back. Not a problem at all. I will say this is the one thing I'm not in love with. It's a small size, not great length. He gives up yardage on tackles. He's a good tackler, but man, it's just every time guy falls forward. Every time he gets dragged. And he's just not that great in man coverage. That's about it. It's nitpicks. It was really close to him and Xavier Watts being in the same. Like I almost put him 3, almost had Xavier Watts 4. I just like the frame of Xavier Watts a little bit more, especially projecting to the NFL where it's a different league. One, it's more physical. You know that. I know that. But to me, he's going to be a valuable piece in the secondary. He could almost be a Jimmy Ward, Quandre Diggs type of kid. That's what I put. But he plays with a hair on fire that those guys don't have.
Yeah.
He does not care.
Yeah.
And the instincts are outstanding instincts. Really.
No, they are. And like you said, the small frame and the biggest thing that I seen from people that were negative on him that I just simply I'm not worried about it because yeah, he has small frame and does he miss some tackles? Then does he get dragged at times? Yeah, he does. You know who's another guy that has some of the worst tackling statistics in the league? Buda Baker. You know how many tackles he missed this year, Max? 28 missed tackles, most in the NFL. No one gives a damn. Why? Because he plays with his hair on fire. He's a great leader. He hits people out of the fucking, the stadium. No one cares. He's small, yeah, but he's gonna make plays out there, man. So I'm not worried about the tackling issue. I'm not worried about the small frame. And he's a playmaker when it comes to picking off the ball. He had 5 interceptions this year, and there were some pretty nasty picks, man. I was showing the film earlier. Like there's one where me and Max were talking about it before we got on here, where he's coming downhill and then he darts right back to the middle of the field and he picks off the ball.
Reads Carson Beck like a book. Absolutely. Yeah. I will say one more thing as a negative, and it's just if you're going to put him in man coverage, it's got to be very specific matchups because if you put him on like a big slot, he's going to get big bodied.
Yeah.
And the play strength, especially when it comes to the routes, he can be a little grabby.
Yes.
When it comes down the field, but he's going to be a difference maker. He's a good player. I really liked him. It was tough. To be honest, the tier talk, we'll get into it later. He's the last of his tier. Like to me, it's Malaki Starks 1, everyone, and then it's 2 through 4, and then it's another tier underneath. He's a good football player.
I fell in love with him, man. That's why I got him as my number 2 safety. My best fit for him is the New York Jets. I feel like Aaron Glenn is going to be looking for that, that old school mentality, that mentality on defense where, hey, we want to hit these guys. He comes from Detroit where he had a guy like Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, guys that play with their hair on fire, that don't care, that are going to hit you in the mouth. And I feel like Mukuba comes from that DNA. And I feel like it'll be a perfect fit. And my comp, like I said, Buda Baker. Who was your comp for him? I didn't even hear that.
Jimmy Ward / Quandre Diggs. But I wanted to specify those guys don't play with the hair on fire like he does. He is a special guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick, a draft for me is 50 to 75, somewhere in there. Second round pick, maybe early third. Definitely a day 2 pick.
I have him as an early second round. All these guys from Mukuba, Winston, and Watts, like the guy we're going to talk about coming up next, I had them all at a 77 grade. It was that close. I love them all, and they all do stuff great in their own way because they're all very different players. Max, let's go to your number
Xavier Watts.
3 guy. Yeah. Number 3 guy.
I have him.
I have Kevin Winston at 3, so he's
Oh,
my
okay, so
4.
we both have to talk about Xavier Watts. Got
Yes,
you.
correct. Okay, Xavier
Uh,
Watts coming out of Notre Dame, 6 foot, 204 pounds, had a lot of interceptions. Max, what'd you see on tape?
really love his instincts around the ball. One, ball skills are very good. It seems like if they throw the ball in his area, it's like when the quarterback overthrows the guy, he's picking the ball every time.
Yeah.
He sees the play developing. He recognizes route combos and just shoots his gun. He just attacks. And that's partly Notre Dame. You know how good they are at coaching their guys up, but he's a smart football player.
Yeah.
One thing I loved are his tackling. Really liked it. Again, he's not the clean your clock tackler, but he's great at wrapping up. And sure, there are times where he can be over aggressive and overshoot. Yeah, sure. But that's understandable. I'd rather have a guy over aggressive than some guy who has no feel for the game.
Yeah.
He's quicker than he is fast. He's versatile. He lined up everywhere for them. It's in the box. It's up high. It's in the slot at times. One thing I'll say is don't play this. He's got to be a safety. He can't play man coverage. He's not. Maybe against the tight end, he's got some stiff hips. You can see it in just his demeanor and how he walks.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's a good football player. To me, he reminded me of Landon Collins or a little bit of Eddie Jackson, but I think he's more Landon Collins because he's built. He's built.
I thought he had a little bit of a small frame coming from his measurables, but when you turn on the film and you look at him, it's like you said, like his frame is a lot different. He's a little bit more built.
Yeah. That 204, I have a hard time thinking he played a 204. He looked like he was 215.
Yeah.
Maybe, for the combine, we got to get as light as we can to run this 40.
Right.
But again, he's not the fastest guy in the world. He's quicker than he is fast.
Yeah.
I don't think, and he's more of a straight liner.
Yeah, he's going to make his money, Max, from reading the quarterback's eyes, being a smart football player. You can tell he watches a ton of film. There was plays. There was 100%. I watched the Ohio State game, and he's seen plays developing pre-snap. He knew where it was going to go. He was
every time they ran like a jet sweep, he is on that guy's ass.
Yes.
He is on it.
Yeah. So I love that about him. High IQ player. He's good in man coverage, not great. He can do it, but like you said, I wouldn't ask him to do it consistently. And he's not a crazy athlete. He's not gonna wow you like that. He's not gonna wow you coming downhill and tackling a guy like Mukuba or Kevin Winston. He's not that type of guy. He's a playmaking safety with great eyes, great football IQ. Hopefully a team that drafts him keeps it that way. Keep him at the back end, let him make plays, let him read the quarterback. And I think he's going to make some money in the NFL. He's going to get some picks. He's going to keep on doing the same thing. Just don't.
He just reminds me of all the other Notre Dame safety / corner, those like hybrid guys like Julian Love, or just like, damn, that guy's good. That guy's really good.
And I gave him some high praise. My comp to him was Devin McCourty. A little bit later in his career.
Wow.
Yeah, and Devin McCourty was a very smart, instinctual player. A little bit more at the tail end of his career than, prime Devin McCourty.
New England would love a guy like this in the back end. Would love a guy like this, especially with, what'd you say?
In the past with Bill Belichick. Probably not
now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe with Vrabel. I don't know how he's going to do it. But, they could definitely use him. Julie Peppers, what's his first name? Jabril Peppers, he's got his stuff going on off the field. But no, he's a good football player. I think any team would really be happy to have him. You put him in Kansas City, he's going to understand that system. He's a good player.
And with a loss from Javon Holland this year going to the New York Giants,
Miami sure could be.
The Dolphins have a spot open. So I have them for best fit for the Miami Dolphins. I think they'll have a really good player on their hands. And they need guys. They need playmakers. Get the ball back to the offensive hands. Javon Holland did that for them, so they're going to be missing that. Let's draft Xavier Watts, get a playmaker in the back end. Okay, let's show our grades, Max, and then we'll move on to our next guys.
Yeah, I gave him an 80.
For me, I had a 77 early second round pick. Like I said, all the same grades for Winston, Watts, and Mukuba. For Max, where'd you have him?
Yeah, I had him at 80, somewhere between second round, early third, 40 to 60 is my range. I felt like I gave that to all the safeties. It's all like day 2 safety. There's going to be day 2 safeties off the board, like typically there always is. And some team's going to end up with a star.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, let's go to the polarizing guy that me and you have had some conversations about already. Nick Emmanwori. Emmanwori. There we go. Nick Emmanwori from South Carolina ran a 4.38, 220 pounds, 6'3" safety. And his mock draftables, Max, ridiculous. It's off the charts. This guy is traded up to the max. But what did you see on tape?
I didn't see what I thought I would see. When I see 6'3", his height, his weight, what do you expect? Want some physical safety, can almost take on a pulling guard. He's not that at all. I just want to start with let me read one of my cons. Horrible tackler, horrible tackler. It was embarrassing almost how bad of a tackler this kid is. And it's not that I don't think he can do it. It's just he really needs to refine his technique. It's just missed arm tackles. He gets dragged. It's, to be honest, it's just a lack of physicality on the tape. Doesn't have the greatest instincts. He wasn't super rangy. You see that's, there's this play I talked about with Malaki Starks where Jalen Milroe hit the corner and just took off. He tried that against Nick Emmanwori and was like, no, I'll just run out. You're going to catch me.
Yeah.
Like, he is fast. You see it on the film. He's got long arms. He's fluid. The hips aren't bad. He'd be an amazing spy like against Patrick Mahomes. You just let him up there and say, okay, you're dead. But this isn't a guy to me that you can trust to put him in a sub linebacking position on third downs because God forbid they run the ball, you're toast.
Yeah.
What I did love about him was he's got good ball skills. He's not just, the stiff, dumb athlete. The instincts, like I said, they're not Malaki Starks, but they're not horrible. He's there, but it's just not. You know how those guys like Xavier Watts and Malaki Starks, like they're running before the ball's being thrown. Like this guy has to read and react. He's not just like, oh, I already know where you're going with it. That's just not his game.
Right.
And he's got good coverage skills. He plays great in space. Like when it's like he's got a good feel for zones, but it's just not what everyone led me to believe about how he's just like I thought he was going to dethrone Malaki Starks when I heard about him. I was like 6'3", 4.39, check. Let's just go run him up the board, dude. I'm sure we have the same comp for him. I know we are, but what'd you see?
Look, I seen a lot of the same things. He's not very instinctual at all. He doesn't have a natural feel for the position. He looks lost out there. He's very hesitant every single time. It's just like, bro, you're just standing there. You're getting so caught up in the play that you're not even moving. That's how I felt with him, and I got frustrated at times. So I'm just like, bro, just go downhill, just play with your hair on fire, see what happens. I didn't see any of that. And something that really bothered me a lot, like you said, is the tackling. Like he just sucked at tackling. He was just not all that good. Did he stop a lot of angles on guys? Hell yeah. Guys got really spooked by his angle pursuit. They're like, oh damn, like this guy got the edge on me. I'm toast. I'm done. And it caught him off guard. He was great at that. He's a great athlete. But his coverage needs work. I think it's raw. His read and react ability is just not there. And he looks very impressive on paper, but when it comes down to the film, he's very, very raw and he's just not there. To me, he's a third rounder. To me, I wouldn't touch this kid in the first round or second round.
Oh no. To me, I have him between 50 and 75. He's late second or third round. And to be honest, it's a lot of traits. And this is the type of pick that can scare you because one, I told you this before the show. I said this could be the best safety in the class if everything falls right. Man. Or this guy could be out of the league in 3 years. He's really a boomer bust prospect. I think he's better in coverage than you give him credit for. That's why he kind of slipped in at 5. But I will say this: if you want to show the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys, I think Billy Bowman's better than him right now. I think Jonas Sanker's better than him right now. They all have pretty much the same grades, but when it comes down to projecting them into the NFL, he's got rare traits that coaches are going to just love to be like, maybe we can mold them. Yeah. And, sometimes these guys don't work out. Obi Melifanu, perfect case.
Yeah.
Perfect case of, wow, he had everything you thought, but he just don't have the feel for it.
And I feel like he had better feel for the game more than this guy. I feel like he played a little bit more freely than Emmanwori. A lot more. And Obi, man, he couldn't find his place in the NFL. And I feel like with this guy, this is gonna be a hot take. I hope a coach tries it because I would throw him out there on outside corner just to really utilize his traits because you're not going to really use his traits as a safety. I don't think he's going to make wild plays. I would get some guys that you can scare him with his big long arms, his height with the 6'3", and his amazing speed. Try him out there at corner. See what he can do. There's so many guys, like half of that position at corner is just running. You have to be traded up to play corner. And if you can make them
especially in a zone heavy scheme.
yeah, in a zone heavy scheme, like you said, you feel a little bit better about his ball skills than me. Throw him out there at outside corner. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 years we see him as a corner and he's not a safety anymore. But if you're talking to me about drafting him currently as it stands, I can't do it. I can't do it in the first or second round. He's a third round pick. I acknowledge he has the traits. I will not make the same Opie Melifon move that the Raiders did. That was a huge mistake. And that's why it's so important to watch the film on these guys. You can look at the traits. He can be traded up as hell. What does he do on the football field? The tape just said different. It said
Yeah,
different to me.
he had least impressive tape than Billy Bowman, the guy I have at 6.
Yeah.
Just to get there a little soon.
Let's show
if this guy worked out, he maybe could be Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin is another big guy, but he's not the most physical guy in the world. He's not a Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, Jeremy Chin is just way more physical, man. It's just night and day. Night and day. Let's show Max's grade. He had him as a 76, round 2, 50 to 75, so a wide range for him. It's the traits, like Max said. It's just guys who are super rare in that category. For me, I'm on the other end. I'm 74.5, a mid-round, third round pick. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy goes in the second round.
I would find it hard if a team took him in the first after watching what we did.
Yeah,
I would be shocked.
What would be the team? Honestly,
the Eagles at 32.
Yeah,
but I don't think the Eagles would like a guy like this.
I don't think so.
Unless you're like, we got so many alpha dogs, we're gonna make him into this. But it would have to be a pick like that. I don't see any team that actually has a need like Miami. Loki would be a great Miami pick because they don't care about physicality at all. Baltimore is not picking this guy, not at all.
The team that I had comped to him because it was so hard. I had Carolina. It was a shot out of the dark just because, hey, they lost a guy in Jeremy Chin 2 years ago. So if you're comparing them to a Jeremy Chin type of guy, pick him. Let's see if Carolina can resurrect that. I don't know, man. He's my 7th overall safety.
He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a lot of work. Let's talk about.
He's a project.
Let's talk about Billy Bowman Jr. out of Oklahoma, 5'10", 192 pounds. This is the last of the safeties on my list as far as when it goes for the top 5, and I fell in love with this kid, man. He was one of the last kids that I watched. I love his motor. I love it on him, man. He fires off the ball, plays with his hair on fire, smooth hips, great feet in coverage, can really hold his own in man coverage. I felt like very good instincts when it comes to stopping plays in the back end and reading, reacting to short concept passes. The only thing about him, really, it's the size. And it's really tough to fall in love with him because the size can be an issue when you're playing the ball in the air and as an open field tackler one-on-one, truly in the open field. You see it at times.
Absolutely. And this is the thing that kind of pushed him down to 6. He's got the opposite of Emmanwori, where the tape is awesome, but the physicals are such a question mark one. It's 5'9", it's 5'10", 190. Wingspan is 1 percentile. Arm length 28.5, 0 percentile. That's like the opposite of Emmanwori's got all the tools, right? He's got all the physical tools. This guy doesn't have it.
Right. Yeah.
But the tape is there, and he's like you said, he's got the great feel for the game. He can get back there.
Yeah.
Before the snap, he's just sprinting back and a little like they're just hedging, and then he just runs all the way back, and now he's on top of people.
Yeah.
And he's got good ball skills, but he's tiny.
It's just like Mukuba. They don't know that they're under 6 foot. They don't know that they're 185 pounds. Like they don't know.
Yeah. And no team's gonna take this kid over Emmanwori. I don't believe just because there's so many. The physical. Like a team can be like, I'm glad we missed on the guy. Like we could live with missing on the 6'3" traded up guy, but I don't want to take this guy and miss. You know what I mean?
I get
He's going to
you.
be probably a fifth
I
round pick. And I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying, how the game works, right? Taking the 0 percentile guy who's not blazing fast, has plenty of speed. Look, he could play center fielder, but you can't put this guy in man cover. He's going to get big bodied by everyone.
Yeah.
And obviously his tackling is not that great because he's such a small guy. But it's not that he's afraid to tackle. It's just physical limitations.
And like I say, I'm going to sound like a broken record when it sounds to these small guys, but Buda Baker's the prime example. Another guy that I comp to him, Jalen Petrie. Those guys both have high missed tackle rates in the NFL. And it doesn't matter because you take the wins with the losses. Like these guys are gonna have some moments where in open field they're not gonna be able to get a guy down like a Malaki Starks right away, but they're gonna play with their hair on fire. They're gonna make some plays out there. The playmaking's gonna overshadow a lot of the measurables and the limitations that they have when it comes to being a short guy. And Jalen Petrie, you know how much I love Jalen Petrie coming out. He was a baller for me. So that's my comp to him. I have him comp to Arizona as well. Buda Baker's getting long in the tooth. He's getting a little bit old. He has a lot of injury concerns over the years. Hey, get your replacement for Buda Baker. Plan a year ahead because I can argue fill it right now. They can cut Buda Baker next year or even trade him for
absolutely.
that fact.
Well, we've been hearing about that. Then they extended him. So yeah, I could totally see them trying to be a little proactive in that. Yeah. I put Darius Washington, a guy you were really high on, who's finally kind of figuring his way out into the NFL. Smaller guy, had to develop.
Yeah, and had a great year last year. That boy
had a great year.
He saved my draft status, man, because it was looking bad. He went undrafted. I was just looking at Max like, I promise, dog. I see something on film, bro. Like it's there.
No, the film was good. I remember saying, I was like, I don't know if we can call this guy the best, but look, he's gonna be. I think he'll be good. He'll be a quality player. He's the type of guy to be in the NFL 8 years and just be good. He'll have his weeks where it's rough. He'll have his weeks where it's good.
Right. Okay.
To me, this is a guy 50 to 75 range again. He might even fall later because the size concerns. Because NFL teams love to just worry about size and physicality, and I mean it makes sense. Can he hold up in an 18-game season, which is coming? I'm sure. So
yeah. And I had him as a 75 as well. More of a round 3 type of guy. My personal opinion, I feel like Billy Bowman will get drafted earlier than Emmanwori. That's just.
Oh, I would have a hard time believing that just off traits. Like I said Billy Bowman's better than him right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a hard time thinking, you could find another guy like Billy Bowman. Maybe you want to go Jonas Sanker, who's another good player. Yeah. But you're not going to find one 6'3", 215 with 4.39. That's what teams are going to look for. Yeah. And like I said, it just takes one team to fall in love.
Exactly.
Maybe the Raiders are like, oh shit, we can write the ship. Get Obi's number out. Let's stick him with it. That happens.
Like Obi. All right, let's talk about our full list. We're not gonna break down the next 5 guys that we have on our list extensively like we did for the top 5. We do want to talk about maybe 2 guys. Okay, let's show the list first. So my list, my top 10. Emmanwori is number 7 for me. That's probably the biggest headliner of my list. But I like Jonas Sanker. I have him at 6. Jalen Reed from Penn State, very solid player. Malachi Moore, I expected more. no pun intended. But nice. I expected a lot from him on film. He's a 5-year senior, has a lot of football played, but the film is very hot and cold for him. And then I kind of liked a little bit of Lathan Ransom from Ohio State. He was a decent player. All these guys, I had them, in the 4-5 range, just nowhere near like the Malaki Starks to me and, that top echelon of safeties. And as far as it goes for my tier list, I'm just going to say this 1, 2, and 3, to me, they're all in the same tier. I know I have a very high grade on Starks, but I think all these guys in their own little way can be very elite depending on what teams can draft them. Xavier Watts, I have him in his solo tier at 4 just because he's probably the most rangiest guy, the most pure free safety that you have, that playmaking ability on the back end. So he's all by himself. 5 and 6, Billy Bowman and Jonas Sanker. They're in their own tier. Nick and Jalen Reed, they're in their own tier as well. And then, below that, 9, 10, they're kind of in the day 3 type of guys. Max, let's show your list. You want to break down your tiers?
Yeah. Let me go. Starting at 6, Billy Bowman. 7, Jonas Sanker. 8, Malachi Moore. 9, Jalen Reed. 10, Lathan Ransom. Great name. My tier list would be Malaki Starks in his own tier. Then I would have Kevin Winston Jr., Xavier Watts, Mukuba in one tier. So I'd have 2 through 4 in a tier. Then I would have Emmanwori, Billy Bowman, and Jonas Sanker in a tier. And then I have everyone else in a tier.
Yeah.
I think those 3 guys, obviously Emmanwori's just got the traits of all traits, and the other 2 guys are just solid football players. I like Jonas Sanker. He was a good watch. He just flies all over the place. Good ball skills. There's some missed tackle concerns, but we've talked about that with safeties coming out in the past, where it's something that gets cleaned up in the NFL.
Yeah, and I feel like Jonas Sanker to me is the second best pure safety in the class, next to Xavier Watts. He's truly rangy, textbook tackler, runs downhill. He can play in the slot. He can play in the box if you need him to. Just very instinctual, very high football IQ guy. I love how he attacks the ball in the air, and to me, great frame. Really love the kid. Underrated player in this draft, because I don't really see him all that high on mock drafts all that often. And
he reminded me of Kirby Joseph. Doesn't have the mean nastiness of Kirby, but just what we've seen this year.
I thought about him a little bit when I was comping him. My comp to him, though, guy dear to my heart that I really liked coming out of the draft, Eddie Jackson. That's who I comped him to. A guy that has that playmaking ability, can play in the back end, can play in the box if you need him to. Not the best guy in man, but he can do it. And I have him comped to Cleveland. Cleveland needs a safety right now. They're kind of short on safeties. So there you go. Jonas Sanker, watch out for him, out of Virginia. Very solid player. Anyone else, Max, that you wanted to give a shout out, or you're good?
No, I'm good. I like the safety class. 8 through 10 is kind of where it falls off to me a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was shocked by Emmanwori. I think he's the big takeaway that, we can't always value size, height, and speed.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to give a big shout out to Mukuba, man. I think he's going to be a really, really good player. I don't.
You hate him because he's from Texas. Cap.
That too. And I don't think he's going to go all that high. Did we say where you think he would go? I think he's probably going to go in like the 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, 3rd. Yeah. I think the team will fall in love with him.
Yeah. We'll see.
Maybe a 3rd rounder.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it, guys. That's our top safety prospects video for you guys. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, bro. We're doing great new content every single day. We drop daily content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. We even have our what? You said MySpace. No. So make sure to like the video, comment down below. What's your top 5 list? What do you guys think of the safeties? Ahmad, I'm waiting for your comments down there. Don't run away. Don't run away.
Go ahead and take Malaki off.
He's going to tell me Andrew Mukuba should be a Hall of Famer. He should be number 1 on your list. All right. That's probably what I'm going to hear. But look, make sure to join us next week, Thursday, on April 24th for the draft. First round coverage. Me and Max will be live for the 4th year in a row. We're going to be doing raw reactions, raw analysis on every single pick in the first round. So make sure to join us, man. It's going to be a good time. We'll have our snacks like always. Hopefully Max doesn't get sick after the draft like last year.
No, hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, I'm going to be sleeping over at once because I'm in trouble because I'm skipping my wife's birthday.
Oh,
the 24th. Shout out to her. Psych. Don't care. NFL first, babe. It was here before you.
But that's going to do it. We'll see you guys in the next one for when we do linebackers.
Right? Last one.
Peace.
And long snappers.
We out. Peace.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold, both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy